Yeah, let's take a look at a problem like 610, and I used 6-9 as my example. And this is where we get a little more gnarly. Some of our formulas get a little longer, and so don't ever get discouraged. The formulas are there and they're provided, and I'll provide them. And most often it's plugging in the numbers and then making sure you do the math correctly, or letting Excel kind of do some of the math for you. So 6-9 says that, or asks that, I gotta get there, in a binomial situation, n equals 4 and pi, and this is a different pi than what we're used to, equals 0.25, determine the probabilities of the following events using the binomial formula. Okay, and I've written out the binomial formula. It's actually right there on page number 180. It'd be on 183, but they've written it out like this, right? That we've got combination of c n x and pi to the x times, by the way, that'd be multiplied there between those, times 1 minus pi to the n minus x. Okay, if you write that out otherwise, and I've done that up here, because you change that combination, right? If you go back and remember that our combination formula then is equal to, I'm going to get rid of one of these, sorry. But our combination formula is equal to n factorial over x factorial times n minus x factorial. So I've just written that out, okay? And I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm sorry, when I do this, honestly, I get out paper and pencil so I can kind of write this out and then follow along and end up doing my work or my math in Excel. Okay, so we can solve the problem then one of two ways, and one way would be to, I gotta quit drawing here. Okay, one way would be to come here and plug in, right, just our numbers. So in this case, n is 4, right? That's what's given to us. And so we could say that this is 4 factorial over x is 2 for the first one, right? Yep, 2 factorial times 2 factorial minus, oops, I'm sorry, this should be 4 factorial minus 2 factorial, and pi is 0.25 to the x. Oops, sorry, I got a little tough sometimes working with these formulas, to the second power, because x is to the second power, okay, times 1 minus pi, or 0.25, to the n, which is 4, again, minus x, or 2. Okay, so now I've written it all out, and I can do 4 factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. I'll just kind of do this, right? That's 24 divided by 2 factorial, which is 2, times 4 minus 2 factorial, so that's 2 factorial, so I get 2 times 2, so I get 24 divided by 4 is equal to 6. Now I'm running out of, I'm not sure I can do 0.25, yeah, 0.25 squared is 0.0625, yeah, I think that's right. Okay, but let's go back over then and simply do it like this. So this part of the equation I've done, and it was 6, right? And actually I'll show you another way to do that, because that is a combination. Here is, I just broke down the equation. Okay, I don't know why I still have this one in there, but so here's my 0.25, and in this case it's squared, okay, because x is 2, right? Okay, so I got 0.25 squared, and I just entered that in here like this is equal to 0.25 squared, okay? And then this is 1 minus pi, and I just, again, parentheses, 1 minus 0.25 in parentheses, okay, to the n minus x, or again 4 minus 2. So I'm going to do a little math in my head, to the second power, 4 minus 2, right? Okay, so now Whoa, what did I do wrong there? Oh, I forgot to put the equal sign in. Let's come back up here and put an equal sign in there so they know it's a formula. There we go. Okay. So I've broken the equation, I guess, down into the three parts. This part, the middle part, and the last part. And I've put those three into this. And the way this equation is written up then is that it's this times this times this. Okay, so this times this times this, and that's what I have here. This is simply equal to my 6 times my 0.0 times my, boom, 0.21094. Okay, that's one way to do it. Now let's do the second one where my x is 3. My n is still 4, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently here. Remember, I've written out what the combination equation is here, but I can also just go to combination. And I think I can find that in math and trig. I think I can find it in stats too, but I've got the combination. My number is 4. My number chosen is 3. Okay, so now that part of the equation is 4. Okay, but now I have pi. My pi stays the same. It's 0.25, so equal to 0.25. But now my x has become 3, right? So I have to use my little tent over the 6, shift and 6, and then put in 3. So 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25, and that's equal to that. Okay, then I've got 1 minus that, and that stays the same. So I can say this is equal to 1 minus 0.25. And put a parentheses. Oops, I didn't do my equal again. Shame on me. Equal to 1 minus 0.25. And then to the n minus x, and n still 4, x is now 3, so that's just to the first power, which means that it's equal to 0.75. Just basically the number itself. Okay. Once again, I can multiply those equal to this times this one times this one. And for that answer I get 0.04688, which I believe matches up with what's in the back of the book. So yeah, this is one where I wish, and it doesn't, I wish that Excel, you know, I had to go to OneNote where I could write these things out, and I wish Excel would allow me to do that right in Excel. This I've taken then where it was written out and I've just copied it over, because I think I can do this in Word. I can surely do it on my tablet and whatnot, but it might help you in these cases to go ahead and use pencil and paper, kind of write it out, you know, and then you can plug it in like I did here and put in the formulas. If you want to know how, you know, I got this equation, I went to OneNote. There's other programs. I think you can do this in Word. I've done it in Word before, but I couldn't find it today. But I used OneNote, Draw, and Ink to Math. Okay, and it gives me this where I can write out an equation, like I can write out an equation x plus y. It didn't like my y, right, equals 3 or something like that. Okay, now I would have to select it and correct it. I want it to be a y. It doesn't like that, so I'm going to erase it and start over. I got x plus x now. Yeah, I tell you, it's not the easiest. Anyhow, that's how you do it. I'm not going to waste your time. Sorry. Any more time?